Hello children, today we will see translocation of food through the phloem. Now this part is phloem, this part is xylem. Okay. Now see here, translocation of food. What is the meaning of translocation? The transport of food from one part of the plant to another is called as translocation of food. The food prepared in the leaves is translocated to different parts of the plant by phloem. You know, phloem is a complex permanent tissue found in the plants. The sieve tubes of phloem are placed one above the another or other to form long tubes through which food is transported. Food moves in both directions, upward and downward, unlike water which moves in the xylem in only upward direction. If you see here, this tissue is the vascular tissue which contains, this is the xylem which contains both the xylem and the phloem. In between you have cambium cells. So you can see here in the xylem, the water moves from the roots towards the upper parts of the plant only. But in case of phloem, the food is prepared in the leaves and it is brought down even to the roots. So it can move to the roots downwards, or some parts of the plant like shoot tips. The leaves are here, shoot tip is on the top. So food can also be transported to the tip of the shoot for its requirement. So it moves in both the directions. Food moves in both the direction, but water moves in only upward direction. Okay. Now let us see an experiment to show the translocation in plants. For that we need a potted plant with thick stem and a scalpel or a blade. How to do this experiment? So we take the plant with thick stem and remove the outer part of the stem, that is the phloem tissue. Actually the outer part contains the phloem tissue and the inner part contains the xylem tissue. So this we do with the help of the scalpel. Then we keep the plant in the sun and water it regularly. Why do you need to keep it in the sun? Because in the sun only the plant prepares food in the leaves. Observe the stem after a few days. You will see that the stem swells in its upward direction. It is due to the accumulation of the food material in this part, as the removal of the phloem tissue blocked the downward movement of the food. So what do we conclude? This experiment indicates that translocation of food takes place through phloem. Now you can see this was the potted plant. We have taken a thick stem, removed the outer part, that is the phloem. We know now it is phloem. Just if you remove and keep it for some days in the sun, actually there are so many leaves should be there. And what do we find? After few days, we find this is the upper portion of the stem where the tissue has been removed. So this has become swollen. That means it has increased in size. Why? That is because of the accumulation of food which is coming down from the leaves towards the root. But they cannot go to the root because of the removal of the phloem in this region. Okay. Now let us see the nutrients required by the plants. What are the nutrients? Okay. The plants require certain elements for the growth and development which are known as plant nutrients. They obtain these materials from the soil, air and water. Some elements are essential for plants, for example, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, sulfur, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, iron and copper. Plants are not able to grow normally and complete their life cycle in their absence. So that means if these elements are not there, then plants cannot grow properly and complete the life cycle. Life cycle means they cannot grow, they cannot produce flowers and fruits. Okay. So such elements cannot be replaced by any other element. So these cannot be replaced by other elements. So they are essential. Essential means they are required. Essential elements are further classified into two categories, which are as follows. Macro elements. Macro means major. So that means these are required in large quantities. These elements are required by plants in large quantities. Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, magnesium and calcium are the examples of macronutrients. Then micronutrients means minor elements. These elements are also required but in small quantities. So iron, copper, boron, zinc, magnesium and chlorine are examples of micronutrients. Let us see in this table what is the role of the macro and the micronutrients. So nitrogen, it is the major constituent of proteins, chlorophyll and protoplasm. All these are present in the cell. So that helps in the rapid growth, means fast growth of the plant. So if this is absent, means deficiency, means if nitrogen is not available to the plant, then the plant will grow very slowly. Stunted means it remains small and the leaves become yellow or appear purple. The stem will appear purple, petiole and other side of the leaf, means the leaf will become purplish in color. Now the second element is phosphorus. So where is it present? It is present in the cell membrane and certain proteins in the cell. They also help in the synthesis of cell organelles. What are cell organelles? Like mitochondria, chloroplast, endoplasmic reticulum, all these are cell organelles. So it helps in the conversion of light energy to chemical energy. You know, the leaves take the light energy and change it into chemical energy of food. So for that we require this. If it is deficient, an intense green coloration in leaves and premature fall of the leaves, late flowering and retarded growth of roots and shoots. So here the color of the leaves will change and they will fall. Premature means before they become big, and mature, the young ones will only fall down. Flowers, the plant will flower very late. Other plants are flowering but this will not flower, and the roots and the shoots will not grow properly. The third is potassium. Potassium, it also is the constituent of the protoplasm, means it is present in protoplasm and it helps in the synthesis of carbohydrates and proteins. So what is its function? Mostly it helps in the opening and closing of stomata. Stomata are the pores present on the leaves from where the gas exchange, oxygen and carbon dioxide takes place. Now if it is absent, what is that? Potassium is absent, then or less, then wilting of leaves takes place. Wilting means the leaves will droop and no formation of starch grains. So they are unable to produce the starch and the stem becomes very thin. Slender means thin. The next is magnesium. Magnesium helps in the synthesis of chlorophyll and you know it is important for photosynthesis. So it also helps in the plant growth. If magnesium is deficient, means less in quantity, then it slows the growth of the plant and the leaves will become yellow. Now come the micronutrients. The first one is iron. It helps in the chlorophyll formation, that is the pigment formation, and if it is less, then the leaves turn yellow. Second one is manganese. This forms the enzymes. So enzymes are important for all functions in our body. So if the enzymes are not formed properly, the leaves will become yellow, growth will be stunted, means it will be very slow and the plant will remain small, and appearance of discolored spot on leaves. So on the leaves you find the dark spots. And the last one is zinc. Zinc constituent of plant hormones. So plants also produce hormones which require zinc and this activates the enzymes also. So in the deficiency of zinc, the leaves will turn yellow and the plant remain stunted. Okay, the growth will not take place properly. So we have seen most of these are required for the growth of the plant and for the proper growing of the leaves and having the green color pigment so that they can do photosynthesis. So we see all these are very important, micronutrients and macronutrients. Okay girls.